I never thought my own birthday would become the day that broke my family apart. It was supposed to be simple. Just a small get-together, dinner, cake, maybe some music. Nothing fancy, just warmth, laughter, and the people I loved most. But that night turned into something I'll never forget. My name is Emily Carter, I'm 34 years old, and this story is about the moment I realized my family had never really seen me at all. The day started quietly. I woke up early, baked my own cake, chocolate with raspberries, because Mum said she was too busy. It stung a little, but I was used to it. I'd always been the one who did things on my own. I set the table, arranged some candles, and kept reminding myself that it was okay. I didn't need perfection, I just wanted peace. And maybe, for once, a little recognition. By 6 o'clock, everyone started to arrive. Mum brought potato salad. Dad came in with his usual distracted smile, and my sister Rachel, she walked in like a storm, arms full of balloons and banners, except they weren't birthday decorations. They said, "Congratulations, Rachel, class of 2024. I froze. At first I thought it was a joke. Rachel had finished her online MBA 2 weeks earlier. We already had a graduation dinner for her, so why now? Why today? She clapped her hands and said loudly, "Surprise, everyone!" I wanted to celebrate properly this time, and since everyone was already coming over for Emily's thing, I thought, why not combine it? Everyone laughed, except me. I stood there, holding a plate, my name written in pink frosting on the cake behind me. But nobody even looked at it. They toasted to Rachel's success. Dad gave a speech about how proud he was. Mom cried happy tears, hugging her brilliant daughter. I just stood there, smiling tightly, trying not to ruin the evening, trying to tell myself it didn't matter. But inside, something cracked. You see, this wasn't new. Rachel had always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. When we were kids, if I got an A, it was expected. If she got a B, it was a miracle. When I got my first job, Mum barely mentioned it. When Rachel started a part-time internship, there was a family dinner. It was endless. And I kept swallowing my feelings because I didn't want to be the jealous sister. But standing there, watching everyone cheer for her, on my birthday, something inside me finally snapped. When everyone moved to the living room for photos, I slipped into the kitchen. My cake was still untouched. The candles had melted into a puddle of wax. I didn't even realize I was crying until I saw my reflection in the microwave door. And then Rachel came in. She smiled like nothing was wrong and said, "You don't mind, right? I mean, you never make a big deal about birthdays anyway." That was it. That sentence broke me. I told her, very calmly, that it was rude. That maybe, just once, it could have been about someone else. She rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, don't be dramatic, Em. It's not my fault people actually want to celebrate me." Then she walked out. The rest of the night passed in a blur. I barely remember saying goodbye, but when I got home, I sat in my car for almost an hour, shaking. Something inside me said, enough. I opened my laptop, went through my bank app, and checked something I'd been ignoring for months. There it was, $2,000 missing from my credit card. The transactions were all small, groceries, gas, online orders, but I knew the pattern. Rachel had access to my card once when she needed help, and I'd forgotten to change the password. At first, I wanted to believe it was a mistake, but the delivery addresses were hers. That was the moment everything shifted. The next morning, I filed a fraud report. I told the bank exactly what happened. They froze my card, opened an investigation, and within a week, they confirmed all purchases led to Rachel's account. When I confronted her, she didn't even deny it. She just said, "You make more money than me, it's not a big deal." And when I said I'd filed a report, she looked shocked. "You actually told the bank? Emily, you're insane. Do you know what this could do to my job?" For once, I didn't care. I told her she should have thought about that before using my name. Then came the phone calls. Mum first, then Dad. Then Rachel's fiancé. They all said the same thing. She made a mistake. You're overreacting. Don't ruin her future over a misunderstanding. But it wasn't a misunderstanding. It was theft. And more than that, it was the final proof that she had no respect for me at all. When I refused to withdraw the report, Mom said, "I can't believe you do this to your own sister." I replied, "I can't believe you keep choosing her over what's right. That silence between us, it's something I'll never forget." A few weeks later, the bank refunded most of the money. Rachel was investigated by her employer's HR department because the fraud alert showed up in a background check. And suddenly, the family that once treated her like a star started whispering behind her back. I still feel guilty for her life and mind," said Corley. Then came the confrontation dinner. Mum invited me to talk things out. I almost didn't go, but part of me wanted closure. When I walked in, Rachel was already there, pale, tired, with that same fake confidence she always used when cornered. Mum started softly. "You've made your point, Emily. Maybe now it's time to move on. We're family." But I told them, no. Family doesn't mean accepting abuse. It doesn't mean letting someone walk all over you just because you share DNA. Dad said I was being cruel. Rachel cried and said I was jealous of her success. And for the first time in my life, I laughed. Because it finally hit me. I wasn't jealous. I was free. That night, I packed a bag and left my apartment. I moved into a small place 2 towns over. I blocked their numbers, deleted the group chat, and started therapy. At first, it was lonely. There were nights when I questioned everything. Was I too harsh? Should I have just let it go? But over time, I realized something powerful. I had spent my entire life begging for crumbs of respect from people who were never going to give it. Now, I didn't need their approval. I had peace. It's been 3 years since that birthday. I haven't spoken to Rachel since. Mom still sends Christmas cards, but they come without signatures, just the printed family photo, like we're strangers. Sometimes I miss the idea of family. But then I remember the way I felt that night, standing in a room full of people, invisible at my own celebration, and I know I made the right choice. Now, every year on my birthday, I bake the same chocolate raspberry cake. I light one candle, make a wish, and whisper it softly. Never again will I let someone else write my story. Because family isn't about blood, it's about love, respect, and boundaries. And once I learned that, I finally started living.